So I spent a lot of time thinking of a joke to open this review with, and I couldn't think of anything. Nothing. I couldn't even think of a pun or a joke to incorporate the word overcome or overcomer in it. So, do you like my last Boy Scout laser disc? It's an awesome movie.
The oldest manufacturing plant is closing its doors.
Most of my players have parents that work at the plant. This ain't gonna be pretty.
I'm down 3 coaches, but I do think I have a solution for cross country.
No, I don't even like running. Hey, are you here for cross country?
Yes, sir.
I had one girl show up and she's got asthma.
Oh, you mean Hannah Scott?
Overcomer, the newest faith-based movie to hit multiplexes since Pure Flix's Unplanned back in March. I believe I have that right. No, Fox's Breakthrough in April. Yes. Faith-based movies are becoming more and more prominent, and we actually do have the company PureFlix to thank for that. Yes, faith-based movies were coming out before PureFlix kind of hit the scene, but they're much more prominent now, which I commend. There needs to be an audience for, there is an audience for faith-based movies. They just don't get recognized too often. Not all faith-based movies are horrible. A lot of them are, and a lot of the horrible ones are PureFlix movies. But there are good ones. Just last year, PureFlix came out with, I believe I have it. Is it on my shelf? Yeah. They came out with this. They came out with Indivisible. This is a tried and true great example of how to do a faith-based movie. You take a unique plot, you sort of leave the faith-based stuff in the background for at least a good 2/3 of the movie, and you only bring it up when it's necessary. You also get good writing, good acting, whatever. You put that together, and that is how you make a good faith-based movie. Kudos to PureFlix for doing something like that. Now, I talk about PureFlix because it's necessary, because they have pioneered the fact that a lot of these faith-based movies are getting more and more exposure and nationwide releases. Sony has a faith company or a subsidiary that they release these movies through called Affirm Films. And Affirm Films is the company behind Overcomer. Overcomer is the newest film from the Kendrick brothers, Alex and Steven, who also did such faith-based classics as Facing the Giants, Fireproof with Kirk Cameron, Courageous, and War Room. The only one of their other movies that I had seen before this was War Room, and War Room was terrible. It was awful. Overcomer is bad, but it's not as bad as War Room was. War Room was a lot more over the top in its depiction of everything going on. Don't ask me to pinpoint specific moments from that movie, because I saw that once, and that was when it hit DVD 4 years ago. This is a weird movie, Overcomer. So the plot of this movie, you have Alex Kendrick as this basketball coach at this Christian school. And you could tell he's a big fan of basketball because, he likes just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know why this guy is the basketball coach, because yes, he gives inspiring speeches to his teammates before and after the games, but he doesn't teach them like plays, or he doesn't use any specific terminology. I think at one point he goes, guys, come on, if we put our heads together and we score more points against the other team, we can win the game. I'm like, well, yeah, that's normally how basketball works. That's how any other sport works. You try and score higher than the other team that you're playing against. Is this a movie for 3-year-olds who don't know what the concept of basketball is? Because if so, you did a good job. But anyway, so he is the basketball coach at this Christian, I believe it's a high school. It could be a middle school, although I don't know. If they mentioned it, it was probably only once, but I'm going to safely assume it is a high school. And in the next scene, it turns out that one of the biggest manufacturing plants in the area is getting shut down. And why that's such a big deal is because a lot of the players on not only the basketball team at the school, but the football team and like the baseball team, a lot of their parents work there. And if they lose jobs, they're not going to be able to put their players or their kids in the programs anymore. So everybody except for the basketball coach is like, well, we're going to have to, cut our losses. We know what the situation is. Now we're just going to try and deal with it head on as it comes to us. This guy just goes, well, no, the basketball team won't be affected. We still got the twins, we got Ty, and we got my boy. So we're good. He is just a dork in this movie. He really is. So, of course, within like the first half hour of the movie, he doesn't have the twins, he doesn't have Ty, and his boy is still in it, but his boy just kind of gives up because he's like, well, everyone else left and we really don't have a team. So the principal of the school is like, well, we do have people that are interested in cross country. We're going to have you coach cross country. And he's like, oh no, not cross country. I don't even like to run. Haha, get it? Because he has a little bit of a gut. Great. I have a little bit of a gut too. I'm not a big fan of running, but I don't mind doing it. I don't throw a hissy fit over it. So she's like, well, you give inspiring speeches to your teammates and everything. So, that's really what we need. I'm like, then why don't you hire him to be like an assistant coach or something? Why don't you get someone else to be the main coach? Because the main coach, their primary tactic is not giving inspiring speeches. It's trying to help better their players and their runners so that way they can do their best and be the best that they can be. So he goes to conduct the tryouts in the most cliched scene in any movie I've seen this year. He goes up to this group of people, and he makes a really stupid mistake because he goes up to a group of people who aren't even standing anywhere near the bleachers where the cross-country tryouts are supposed to be, and he goes, y'all here for the tryouts? I almost said tryouts from Longest Yard. You should come to tryouts. Y'all here for the tryouts? And they're like, what tryouts? The cross-country tryouts. Oh, no. Hey, look at this video on my phone. Let's walk away. So they all walk away, and they all shuffle, and there's one girl on the bench, on the little bleachers, and her name is Hannah Scott. She's all by her lonesome, and he goes, okay, you're here for the cross-country tryouts? Yes. Okay, you're Hannah Scott? Yes. You ran last year at another school? Yes. Okay, let me look over this here. Out comes the inhaler. Oh no, I only have one runner, and she's got asthma. Oh no. Cue the Seinfeld music. It is, so basically you would think, okay, well, now I know where the movie's going, it should be over in a half hour, right? No, we're only 25 minutes in, and this movie has the audacity to be 120 minutes long, and it feels that long. You get a really, really stupid plot point where there's this guy in the hospital that's blind, and he's kind of dying, and Alex Kendrick's character, he accidentally steps into the room, but of course, if you have seen more than your fair share of faith-based films, you'll know that there are no such things as accidents occurring in these kinds of movies. Everything happens for a reason. This guy, of course, has a connection to the plot. This guy, of course, will play a bigger role in the second half. What is it? Oh, you can see it coming from a mile away, but I'm not going to reveal it, just in case you want to be surprised, and I am nice enough not to spoil the movie. This is bad, mainly because, first of all, a lot of people have a problem with something in cinema called the white savior narrative. That is a story that's supposed to be primarily about another race, and is instead the focus is turned on the white guy who comes in to save everything. A lot of people like to talk about the movie Green Book, which is a great movie that won Best Picture at the Oscars last year. That is kind of a prime example of the white savior narrative, and in a way it is. I can see that it is a good example of that. This, however, is the textbook definition of the white savior narrative. Hannah Scott is a black girl. She sort of has had a rough life. She doesn't know, she never met her parents. They were drug addicts and they died before she was born. She's living with her grandmother and she's stealing from other kids to get by. Of course, all of that changes and everything is turned around for the better when her white loaf of Wonder Bread coach is brought into the picture. And this guy, by the way, we're supposed to be rooting for. He is one of the most unlikable main characters I've ever seen in a film. He throws a hissy fit because he doesn't have a basketball team anymore to coach. This was going to be our year. Well, guess what? Every sports movie that I've ever seen always has a scene that says, this is going to be, or this was going to be, our year. You're no different from everybody else there, Ringo. He is so whiny. I don't want to do it. I don't want to coach cross country. Da 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 da. And his wife comes in and at one point basically goes, why don't you just stop whining and do it for once, Maybe, try it out. It'll do some good for you. And after he, throws a brick on the ground for dramatic effect, and they make up, oh, everything's good. He has two sons in this movie. Both of them are stereotypes. One is a jock. He's got the muscles. And the other one is a nerd, and he is into science, and you can tell that he's a nerd because he's got glasses, which is the primary cinematic definition of being a nerd. You got glasses? Must be a nerd. Sunglasses? You must be Tom Cruise from Risky Business. Oh, this is such a stupid, cliched movie. The actress who plays Hannah Scott, no fault through her own, because she is obviously an actor and she is dealing with material that she has been given and has been written for her. She gives a very monotone performance. The whole movie, 90% of her dialogue consists of her going, okay, I guess, I don't know, I'm not sure. Okay. Good, great, grand, wonderful. This is just a stupid movie. I can't even get too angry about it because there isn't really anything in the movie to get super offended or angry by. It's just a paint-by-numbers, mediocre, faith-based movie. If you like faith-based movies, more power to you. I'm not here to take away your enjoyment out of something that you obviously like or maybe even love. That's fine. Me personally, I'm on here just to give you my opinions of the movies that I see. So my final grade for Overcomer is a 1.5 out of 4. That is a thumbs down. I do not recommend going to see this at all. If you are part of a church youth group, or if you just need something to do after church on Sunday morning instead of going grocery shopping or going out to eat, then yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good alternative. But it's not good. I can't recommend it. Have you seen Overcomer? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know down below. I'm curious to hear a lot of people's thoughts on this one.
I get it. You have to coach cross country, but it's not the end of the world.
For someone who knows the Lord, you're acting like somebody who doesn't.
You give some very inspirational speeches to your players about stepping up under pressure and going the extra mile.
Hannah, getting faster. Is that?
That's Hannah.
Run, Hannah!